Hello, my name is Rahnuma Islam, and I am here to share my educational journey and also how I will implement what I have learned throughout this course into my teaching and in my classroom. I taught in elementary school in Bangladesh for a couple of years, but I followed the path that most of the people in that country take and started my career as a banker. I did my master's in marketing and worked in the banking sector for several years. I moved to the US assuming that I would be working in a bank. But then I started volunteering in my daughter's kindergarten class, and I loved it. In order to figure out which grade level best suited me, I substituted for several months. And of course, early childhood elementary felt right to me. At that age, kids are like sponges. They take in everything, and the look in their faces when they first learn something new is awesome. Each child that enters my classroom deserves the best education. In order for me to provide them with that, I have to see and respect them as individuals. Currently, I'm not in the classroom, but hope to return one day. Somehow I take detours, but eventually always find myself back in the classroom. I am pursuing my master's in education with concentration in special education. I hope to integrate the main themes that we have learned in this course throughout the semester into my classroom. Education in the United States has changed over time. Several factors that have played a role in that change are politics, needs of society, and economics. In the beginning, only the rich had access to education. As society changed, so did that access. As time went on, more and more people had access to free education. However, slaves were forbidden to that access. Even after slavery was abolished, African Americans had limited, if any, access to education. Segregation prevented African Americans from receiving the best schooling. Even after segregation ended in the school system, have things really changed? No. Even today, schools in the lower socioeconomic neighborhoods where students mostly consist of minorities are lacking resources compared to schools in the higher socioeconomic neighborhoods that mostly consist of Caucasians. Special education has also changed over time. Federal policies such as Education of All Handicapped Children, EHA, and the Individual with Disabilities Act, IDEA, have provided better resources for students with disabilities and their families. Learning is always changing and evolving. It goes beyond the classroom and beyond just one discipline. As a teacher, I have to allow my students to be able to connect to topics, ideas, and concepts across different disciplinary. And the perfect way is to apply interdisciplinary teaching in my classroom. I have taken special education classes. I have also taken classes in curriculum instruction, instructional technology, early childhood. My degree in interdisciplinary learning will allow me to understand and create instructions from different disciplines that will benefit my students. Interdisciplinary teaching helps students gain knowledge from different disciplines. It helps them gain different perspectives and allows for more creativity. One of the big factors in interdisciplinary learning is collaboration. And as a special education teacher, that is a key factor. I have to be able to work with generalist teachers, behavior specialists, and paraprofessionals. And my degree in interdisciplinary learning has given me that tool that will benefit my students in my classroom. As teachers, we are advocates for our students. And I believe that is one of the reasons why I became a teacher. Growing up in Bangladesh, I saw many students, especially students with special needs, that had no one advocating for their rights. Educational reform in the US have made great strides. However, we still have a long ways to go. I grew up with the notion that in the US, education is free and everyone has access to it. That is partially right. It is free, but it is far from equal. Kids that live in lower socioeconomic neighborhoods have schools that lack resources that affect the size of their classrooms, access to books, computer labs, counselors, even desks and chairs. Teachers in those classrooms are overwhelmed because they lack the resources. Education inequality leaves students, which mostly comprise of minorities, with a disadvantage that affects their educational journey. They are not given the same opportunities compared to the students that come from a wealthy school district. I have been blessed with the best educational opportunities. Others are not that lucky. As a teacher, I am an agent of change. I will advocate for my students, teach them that they are also an agent of change, create classroom curriculum filled with diversity, understanding of their community. I will create a classroom community where every student feels welcome. In order to provide the best education, teachers must know and understand the different learning theories. We must be able to apply them in the classroom. In this course, we have learned about 6 learning theories. Each learning theory is important and adds value to the classroom. Behaviorism emphasizes the connection of environmental factors and its influence on behavior. Students learn new behavior through classical or operant behavior. The second learning theory that we focused on was cognitivism. Cognitivism focuses on the internal process and the connections that take place during learning. Social constructivism focuses on learning as a collaborative effort. It helps students learn teamwork. Learning is a social phenomenon, and the reward is provided by the community. Then we have situated learning. And situated learning emphasizes that learning is done when it is done in an authentic context, in an authentic activity, and the culture. Constructionism believes that learning takes place when students construct and participate in project-based learning. Teachers are facilitators, but the hands-on work is done by the students, and then they create a tangible object. Last but not least, we learned about andragogy learning theory. Andragogy learning theory focuses on adult learners. Most learning theories emphasize on children, but andragogy focuses on adults. Their motivation is not the same as children. Their learning is not the same as children. And andragogy learning theory helps us understand adult learners so we are able to help them in the classroom. As a teacher, I don't believe in the one-size-fits-all concept, and that applies to learning theories as well. As a special education teacher, I will have students with different disabilities. In order to meet their needs, I will have to create lesson plans and interventions that might use one theory, or I might need to combine theories. That all depends on my student and their need. The 21st century student is unlike any other. We have students that are from different backgrounds with different experiences. As teachers, we are educating students that are immigrants and refugees that have left their country to come to this country in order to have a better life. LGBTQ students who are being bullied and need our understanding. EL learners, students with learning disabilities, physical disabilities, autism. As a special education teacher, I will teach, respect, and understand each student that comes into my classroom. The 21st century learner is also born tech savvy. They have all the information on the tip of their fingers. Teachers need to be able to understand the new technology and apply it to the classroom. That is pivotal for special education. Every day there are new technology and interventions that is available to help students with disabilities. I need to be able to keep up with the new technology in order to provide my student with the best education. It's overwhelming, but at the end of the day, it is my job as their teacher and advocate. In many ways, I became a teacher by accident. However, it was a wonderful accident. I want to create a classroom filled with a sense of community. Every student that walks into my classroom should always feel welcomed, understood, and respected. Their families, their culture should be celebrated. Their individuality should be celebrated. The themes that we have covered in this class will help me to create an environment where I can provide a top-notch education along with a social justice. I will create curriculums where social justice is emphasized, different technology is emphasized, different disciplinary is emphasized. I will be able to provide my students with the tools that will help them not only succeed in the classroom, but also in their lives.